outdoor barbecue with Chef Dog. Today, the Pig family is having an outdoor barbecue. And who's the chef? None other than Dog, the sausage master. Chef Dog turns the barbecue into a funny cooking show, full of laughter. And of course, no party is complete without a little mishap. In the end, the garden is filled with delicious smells and happy laughter. What a perfect barbecue! The first trip to the beach. The car stops near the beach. Waves murmur in the distance, and the breeze carries the salty scent of the sea. Dad takes a deep breath, shading his eyes with one hand as he looks out at the ocean. Mom smiles, holding the younger brother's hand. The sister runs a few steps ahead, her eyes sparkling with excitement.
Whoa!
A small wave rolls onto the shore. The water touches the younger brother's feet. He startles and quickly turns back, hiding close against Mom. He clings tightly, his face slightly worried. Mom bends down, hugging him close and gently patting his back to reassure him. With her other hand, she holds a coconut with a straw, takes a sip, and looks completely relaxed. The waves continue to lap softly, no longer as scary as before. After a while, the younger brother peeks out at the sandy beach. His eyes stop on a shimmering seashell. He hesitates for a second, then lets go of Mom's hand. He runs over and bends down to pick up the shell. His face lights up. He hops around happily, holding the shell up high to show off his treasure. Seeing this, the sister runs over, sits down to play with the sand, piling it into small mounds, laughing with delight. Mom takes out her phone, lifts it to take photos. The two children against a backdrop of blue, sea, golden sand, and soft sunlight. Meanwhile, Dad goes to find a lounge chair, pulls it closer, lies down to sunbathe, hands behind his head, looking completely relaxed. After a while, the younger brother sneaks a look toward Dad. He bends down and scoops up a handful of seawater. Splash! He throws water at Dad and bursts into laughter. Dad jolts upright in surprise. Before he can react, Mom steps in and splashes lightly too. The sister joins in, cheering and splashing again and again. Water flies everywhere. Dad pretends to fight back, and the whole family runs around, splashing water and laughing together. One lovely morning, the Pig family is getting ready to go outside. Daddy Pig starts looking for the hat. Daddy Pig wants to wear his favorite hat. But Daddy Pig cannot find his hat anywhere. Daddy Pig thinks maybe the hat is hiding. Mommy Pig helps look for the hat. Little Pig wants to help too. Big Pig has a different idea. Everyone stops and looks carefully. It turns out the hat has been there the whole time. Daddy Pig was already wearing his hat and did not even notice. And that is why sometimes the thing we are looking for is right on our head.
Huh?
Camping night, the car slowly pulls into an open clearing near the forest. The sun is setting, casting a warm orange glow across the wide sky. Dad steps out first, looks around, and nods with satisfaction. Mom opens the trunk and takes out the tent and supplies. Dad and Mom work together to set up the tent. Dad holds the frame. Mom stretches the fabric and tightens the ropes. The tent slowly stands firm in the middle of the clearing. Nearby, the two kids excitedly start a campfire. The sister neatly stacks the firewood. The little brother crouches down and gently blows sparks flicker, and the fire catches. They look at each other and smile happily. When everything is ready, Mom spreads a large mat in front of the tent. The family brings out the food: breadfruit, sausages, drinks. Dad places the grill over the fire. Sausages and food are laid on the grill, sizzling and filling the air with a delicious smell. The family sits together, grilling, eating, laughing, and enjoying the moment. Suddenly, rustle! A sound comes from the nearby bushes. The little brother jumps, eyes wide. He quickly hides next to Mom. Mom gently places a hand on his shoulder to reassure him. Dad stands up, holding a sausage, and walks closer. The bushes shake slightly. A small cat jumps out. The family lets out a sigh of relief. Dad bends down and gently places the sausage on the ground. The cat sniffs, grabs it, and runs off into the darkness. Dad turns back and gestures. All good. The family sits back down by the fire. The flames burn steadily. Laughter fills the air again. The little brother relaxes and continues eating. The sister turns the sausages on the grill. Mom adjusts the mat. Dad looks at his family and smiles contentedly. A warm, peaceful camping night, filled with laughter. Lost in the park. The park is crowded, filled with cheerful chatter and the sound of children running and playing everywhere. Tree shadows stretch across the pathways, while warm golden sunlight filters gently through the leaves. Dad walks in front, holding a park map. Mom walks beside him, carrying a bag of snacks. The sister keeps turning back as she walks, keeping watch. The younger brother trails behind, his eyes fixed on a brightly colored butterfly the moment they get separated.
Whoa.
The butterfly flutters low, then suddenly soars high. The younger brother runs after it, laughing with delight. The butterfly glides past flower bushes and stone benches. The younger brother turns down a small side path. A quick cut. The family walks a few more steps, then stops. The sister turns around. He's gone. She startles, looking around. Mom freezes, worry filling her eyes. Dad spins around quickly. Tension builds. Mom and Dad rush back, scanning every pathway. The sister stands on a stone bench, rising on her toes to look far ahead. The crowd moving back and forth blocks their view. Elsewhere in the park, peaceful and calm, the younger brother sits neatly on a bench, holding a big ice cream, his face smudged with a bit of cream, his legs gently swinging. The younger brother slowly licks his ice cream, gazing up at the sky, watching birds fly by. Completely calm.
Whoa!
The sister arrives first and freezes in surprise. Mom and Dad follow, letting out sighs of relief. Mom bends down and wraps the younger brother in a tight hug. Dad rests his hands on his knees, exhausted but relieved. The sister covers her mouth, giggling softly. Trip to the farm, morning at the farm. The whole family steps out of the car, looking at the lush green fields. The older sister and younger sibling take a deep breath, their eyes shining. Mom hands the seeds to Dad, points to the garden bed.
Let's go.
Dad rolls up his sleeves and nods with determination. The sister and siblings spot the chickens and cows, point excitedly. Dad and Mom. Dad digs a bit too hard. Dirt splashes onto his shirt. Mom neatly sows the seeds, adjusting the vegetable rows. The younger sibling scatters grain for the chickens. The chickens rush over, clucking. The older sister carries a bucket of grass for the cows. The cows lower their heads and eat slowly. The two kids laugh with delight. Suddenly, a camel walks over from somewhere. The youngest gets scared and steps back. The youngest turns and runs away, and the animal runs after them. At a corner wall, the youngest has nowhere else to go and stands still, eyes closed. Suddenly, the camel slows down, stops, and eats the handful of grass in the youngest's hand. It turns out it was only following because of the food. The youngest pats its head, and the older brother runs over to play too. Scene change. Mom and Dad stand happily, watching the two kids play with the livestock. The kids ride on the camel's back, strolling around the farm. A chicken suddenly flies over, lands on the camel's head, and crows loudly. The siblings burst into laughter. After a while, Mom and Dad return to the vegetable garden. The kids hop down and walk over as well. The whole family works together. Dad carries a basket of vegetables. Mom waters the plants. The older sister closes the chicken coop gate. She neatly places the feed bucket. Everyone looks at each other and nods in satisfaction. The family sits resting under a tree. Chickens peck at grain nearby. Cows chew grass slowly. Dad gives a thumbs up. The whole family smiles happily. The sweet-making machine of Professor Lion. Today, Peppa and her friends visit Professor Leo's lab.
Aha!
Where sugar, flour, and curiosity blend into one. Professor Leo proudly declares, each button creates a culinary masterpiece. Naturally, no one dares to press one. Yet, no one's sure whether to eat first or clean first. A moment, both delicious and sticky. It turns out every invention comes with a little chaos and a little sweetness at the end. The trash robot. After a fun day, Peppa's yard looks like a tiny rubbish dump.
Hello!
I love being clean.
Dr. Dog presents his newest invention, a talking cleaning trash robot. Peppa realizes cleaning can be as fun as building blocks.
I love being clean.
The secret gift box. This morning, the pig family wakes to find a mysterious gift box sitting on the table as if it sprouted overnight.
Huh?
No card, no name, just a yellow ribbon practically begging to be untied. Curious? Oh, far too late not to be. The box giggles with a tiny shake. It could be a present or a giggling monster. Who can say? It turns out the sweetest mystery is sometimes just cookies and a simple note. the giant pumpkin. Today, something strange has happened in Peppa's garden. A giant pumpkin appeared, as if by magic. Yippee! Mummy Pig imagines hundreds of dishes, from pumpkin soup, pumpkin pie, to even giant pumpkin juice. Daddy Pig thought it was all about strength, but clearly the pumpkin had its own plan, to be the garden's fastest racer. And instead of eating pumpkin, the pig family enjoyed a giant pumpkin adventure full of laughter. What a tasty and funny day! Paper Boat Day. The river flows slowly, sunlight shimmering on the water. The whole family sits together by the riverbank. Colorful sheets of paper lie in front of each person, folding the boats. The older sister sits upright, folding her paper carefully. The creases are neat and straight, forming a small, well-balanced boat. Dad holds a larger sheet of paper. He folds slowly, using firm hands. His boat turns out big and sturdy, with a wide base. The younger brother sits nearby, struggling a bit. One side folds crooked, the other gets wrinkled. His boat looks misshapen, with a bent tip and uneven sides. The younger brother looks at his boat, then at the other two. He scratches his head. Shyly, Mom sits behind them, watching everything, smiling gently. The family stands up and walks closer to the water. The 3 paper boats are placed carefully on the river's surface. Dad gives a signal with his eyes. All 3 gently release their boats at the same time. The boats begin to drift with the current. Watching closely, the sister's boat moves straight and steady, but slowly. Dad's boat is heavier, stable, but it doesn't go very far. The younger brother's boat wobbles at first. Everyone thinks it might sink soon. Suddenly, a small current nudges the crooked boat toward the middle of the river. It glides faster, pulling ahead of the others. The younger brother's eyes widen. He runs along the riverbank, following his boat. The sister and dad stop and stare. They look at each other in surprise. The younger brother's boat travels the farthest, becoming a tiny dot in the distance. The younger brother jumps up, pointing excitedly. The sister laughs. Dad claps loudly. Mom steps closer and gently pats the younger brother's head. The whole family stands together, clapping and laughing happily. The afternoon sun paints the riverbank in warm gold. Peppa helps Dog cross the road. Because he cannot, Dog is struggling in the busy traffic. He wants to cross the road, but he can't tell when it is safe. Peppa quickly understands that Dog needs a helping hand. Carefully, she decides to guide him across the road. When the pedestrian light turns green, Peppa gently leads Dog to the other side, safely away from any danger. Dog is safely across, and Peppa beams with joy. Helping others always makes the day brighter. Park. Cleanup day. The air is cool. Soft sunlight filters through the trees. A narrow path curves around the green lawn with a few people strolling by. Mom carries a small trash bag and walks toward a public trash bin. She opens the lid, getting ready to throw the trash inside. Suddenly, a car drives up. Its wheel hits a rock on the road. The car swerves slightly. Bam! The car crashes into the trash bin by the roadside. The bin tips over. Trash scatters everywhere across the path and the grass. Mom is startled and freezes for a few seconds. She looks around, seeing trash spread all over. Mom quickly turns toward the lawn. She runs back to where the family is sitting. Dad, the sister, and the younger brother follow her gaze. The whole family stands up immediately. Starting the cleanup, Dad heads back to the car and takes out a large bag. He opens it wide, ready to collect the trash. The sister carries a small grabber stick. She bends down, picking up each piece of trash and placing it into the bag carefully and neatly. The younger brother runs around behind them. He picks up anything he sees, holding piles of trash in both hands. Sometimes things fall, and he bends down to pick them up again, leaving nothing behind. Mom picks up trash near the path. As she cleans, she keeps an eye on the surroundings to make sure no one trips. Dad's trash bag gradually fills up. He switches hands and wipes the sweat from his forehead. The sister walks over and empties the trash from her grabber into the bag. Dad and daughter look at each other and nod. The younger brother runs over with a large piece of trash. Dad bends down to help him put it into the bag. Mom gathers the last bits of trash on the grass. The park slowly becomes clean again. The whole family stands beside the trash bin, now set upright again. The large trash bag is tied tightly. The ball and the UFO. Today is a perfect day for football. And a little bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Dr. Dog is testing his new invention, a singing, spinning UFO. Uh-oh, looks like the great invention just got tested in a very unexpected way. Luckily, no one was hurt. Just one UFO that needed a little care.
I'm so sorry.
And so the UFO flies again, the ball rolls again, and Peppa learns. Sometimes it's better to kick gently. George lifts weights. Whoa! Yahoo! Today, George wants to be strong like Daddy Pig, starting with some super light weights. George feels as strong as a little dinosaur.
Huh?
George decides to try something a little more challenging. Daddy Pig thinks George is ready for an upgraded workout. Oops! It seems the upgraded weights were a bit too much. And so George keeps training lighter, safer, and much more fun. The kite flying contest. The whole family walks out onto a wide open field. A gentle breeze blows, and the sky is clear blue. Dad carefully unfolds the kite, checking the frame and the string. Mom spreads a small mat on the ground, smiling, one hand shading her eyes as she looks up at the sky. The sister holds the kite string spool, her eyes focused, a little nervous. The younger brother hops around excitedly, hugging a kite almost as big as himself. Dad gives the signal. The younger brother runs forward, the kite dragging along the ground. The sister holds the string and slowly lets it out. Dad stands behind her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder, guiding each movement. Mom claps to cheer them on as the wind grows stronger. The kite lifts off the ground, trembling slightly, then drops back down. A sudden strong gust of wind blows. The kite shoots up into the sky. The younger brother runs too fast. The string pulls tight, and the kite drags him along without stopping. His feet slip slightly. He leans back but still refuses to let go of the string. The whole family gasps, then bursts out laughing. Mom runs after him a few steps. Dad reaches out to catch him, but the younger brother keeps getting pulled around in circles like an unwilling athlete. Stability and victory. At last, Dad quickly grabs the string. The sister plants her feet firmly and adjusts the rhythm of letting the string out. The younger brother finally stops, panting, then breaks into a wide grin. The kite gradually stabilizes, flying higher, flying straight. Gently gliding across the clear blue sky, the whole family lifts their heads to look up. Mom folds her arms, her face glowing with joy. Dad nods in satisfaction. The sister holds the string steadily, full of pride. The younger brother plops down on the ground, gazing up at the highest flying kite he has ever seen. The camera tilts up, following the kite. The kite grows smaller against the blue sky. The BBQ fire mishap. Today, Dog Chef is making the biggest BBQ ever!
Aha!
Daddy Pig knows exactly who to call, and Peppa couldn't be prouder to hit the alarm.
Okay.
The rescue team arrives faster than the smell of burnt sausages. From that day, everyone remembered. BBQs are fun, but safety makes them taste even better. The Giant Christmas Tree, Peppa and George's Holiday Adventure. Today, Peppa and George go to the park to discover a special surprise. Suddenly, Peppa and George see a seesaw. Both of them run over and start playing on the seesaw. Peppa feels unbalanced and jumps off. And that makes George fall down and feel sad. Wow! A giant Christmas tree appears before the children. Peppa and George run to the Christmas tree and admire it. Peppa runs off to get the Christmas decorations. Peppa then decorates the Christmas tree. George thinks something is not right, so he fixes it, and now it's complete.
Yahoo!
A wonderful Christmas Eve beside the giant tree.